And welcome, race fans, to another fantastic night of racing with the boys from the Fired Up Esports League. Fuel, Nerditudes and Nerd TV back at you again today. Should be a fun one as we are visiting the famed Lady in Black Darlington Raceway. Quite a bit of a change from last week's high-speed draft pack racing. But nonetheless, the Lady in Black always poses some good door-to-door racing, and these boys are putting down some blistering fast times. So it's going to be a good time. As always, I am Dustin Logston, known as Ballistic. Alongside me is, to my right here on the screen, is the legend, the myth, the man, none other than Mr. J. Stan, Jeremy Stanley. How are you doing tonight, buddy?
I got a new microphone. We got some good things and exciting things for you guys tonight. I'm doing great personally, and first time doing a speedway race. My first time with the super speedways and overall on the asphalt, and now we're at a regular, not so much of a cookie cutter per se, but a very unique racetrack. Should be a lot of fun with these trucks tonight.
And it definitely will be. So for those of you that maybe didn't catch the opening race infographic that we had up there, this is not your typical track, Jeremy. This is what they call an egg-shaped track. So turns 1 and 2 are a much wider sweeping corner, set of corners going all the way through. Essentially, you can hold this thing wide open as long as you can hit your marks on it. 3 and 4, though, completely different story, as it's a much tighter corner set going through 3 and 4. So you definitely have to lift a little bit, depending on where you're at. You may have to utilize the brakes a little bit as well in order to stay out of either the person to your high side, or if it happens to be that famed wall, hence the name, the Lady in Black. It definitely poses a lot more of a tricky situation when it comes to these, these drivers going around this track. But like you said, and I agree with you 110%, I think it's going to be a wonderful, fun, action-packed race.
Yeah, it sure should be. This track is unique compared to any other track as far as how you approach it. The track surface is really thin compared to most ovals and 1.5 mile tracks. And so, and how the corners are shaped, they run up right up against the wall. That's typically the preferred line. And you'll see a lot of people get up there, and that's where you get those, the famed Darlington stripes. You'll definitely see some, just because you have to run that wall to get your fastest lap time down typically. But we'll see what kind of setups these drivers bring tonight and see what the track has in stock for them.
Yeah, and like you said, that high line being the way that it is, it's been dubbed the Petty line, the Earnhardt line, the Junior line. Anybody that can run up there and run just mere inches away from that wall, it's their line. It doesn't matter who it is. Tonight's race event, it's another special event, much like the 13 Fallen Heroes 250 that was ran last week. Everybody that's involved with Fuel, or the Fired Up Esports League, definitely supports numerous amounts of causes. This week here, being at Darlington, is the Mission 22 Stop Veteran Suicide 125. So again, September being the suicide prevention month. I know that in some way, shape, or form, suicide has affected somebody's family in some way, shape, or form, whether direct or indirect. So it's definitely something that they stand very strong on, and that they support and back as well. So again, the guys and out there doing their thing, supporting a very good cause on that.
Absolutely, yeah. It's cool that these guys touch base with on the veteran side here, and being National Suicide Prevention Month, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to see that kind of respects to that organization, and it definitely needs to be spoken about because it is definitely a huge thing. It's not really talked about so much on the mainstream news, but it's definitely a huge issue that a lot of people are currently fighting, and I'm just really glad that Fuel is bringing that attention to this particular program.
Yeah, and it's always great to to see that going on. But again, and they're doing it in the best way they possibly can. So we've seen a lot of hard racing last week at Daytona. A couple cautions, which is nothing less than to be expected with Daytona. You can expect a couple cautions probably tonight. I mean, that's just the name of the game. When it comes to Darlington, it's just the way the track is. It's just how close these drivers are. Again, they're mere inches from the wall on the outside, mere inches from the driver to their left as well, all at the same time. So it's definitely going to be a different type of scenario. As you see, the qualifying is now over. These boys are now starting to grid up, starting to take their starting positions as we are going through. Jeremy, take me through what do you feel is to be expected with tonight's race, knowing what Darlington is and have yourself been on Darlington and pulled a number of laps at this track yourself?
So restarts are always tricky because it is a really tight entrance into turn 1 and turn 2, and when you start side by side, you definitely want to have a lot of give to start for sure, which I expect these drivers to do so because you don't want to wreck out early. You never want to do that. So you might as well give a little bit in the beginning, and then toward the middle of the race, I think everything should be nice and spaced out depending on how the cautions lay out. And then toward the end is where it gets pretty crazy. That's where you see a lot of those stripes come in because every driver's just getting every inch possible out there on the racetrack. And it's this kind of racetrack just it poses a lot of different finishes. You see a lot of side-by-side finishes with mistakes. You see, some drivers figure out the track earlier than not, and it's just we'll see what these drivers do. We'll see what they show us, and looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So as you can see, these folks are gridding. It is time for Jeremy and I to take the sideline seat and get our ugly mugs off the screen. Thank you guys for joining us for the pre-race build-up. But we are going to get ourselves off the screen, and we're going to put you guys live full screen for the race in action for tonight, as we are going to get ready to go through our starting grid here in a moment. So our starting grid for tonight's event on the pole is going to be none other than Shane Posey. Your second place is going to be Jeremy Coors in that number 97. Timothy Swiggett, who was fast, is going to take that third spot. His dancing partner to the outside is Jeremy Boucher. Fifth place is going to be Greg Holt, and his dancing partner is going to be the newcomer tonight, Braden Carroll. Josh Benoit is going to be starting in seventh with Joseph Causey, last week's winner at Daytona, going to be starting 8th. Jeff Converse is going to be starting in that 9th position, with Josh Gathright starting in 10th, rounding out your top 10. That 11th position is going to go to Miz. That's Jason Miz himself, with his dancing partner to the outside as Bryson Durding. 13th position there is going to be Clayton White. And you're going to have Rich Malagani to his outside. Green flag. Scott Martin, Connor Hazel, the next one. As we get ready to go green flag racing, these drivers are off and running as we are running through now. We're going through turn 1. And already we have an incident there. Contact being made big time, as we didn't even get one lap completed before we had contact going into turn 1, which is that's not something we normally see, Jeremy, going into turn 1 that quick.
No, that's huge, Dustin. Yeah, Greg Holt, strong performance last week, caught up on that very early incident. That's tough to see. He's got quite a bit of damage, so he's got some work to do to get that truck back up and running. It's just, that's that give and take I was talking about just a little bit ago. Like, setups typically here at this track are kind of loose, to my knowledge, whenever I run them anyways. And, that's multiple trucks now involved, early incident. So that's just, that's unfortunate. You spend hours and hours in practicing, and then you come up with that result, not even 30 seconds into the race. So team's got some work to do to get those trucks back up in running order.
Yeah, and we are going to go back and watch that replay to see exactly what happened on that one. Looked like possibly the 97 might have just got a little bit of that wall there. It might have been a little bit of wall glue, which is unfortunate. That's an unfortunate thing that does happen here in iRacing. That started in NR2K3 and has found its way all the way here to iRacing. And the unfortunate thing is with the way that Darlington is set up on that, And we're going to go back and just take one more look at it before we call that as a wall glue. You see going into turn 1, it looked like he might have had a little bit of help from the 37 there. Again, these drivers, the last time that they raced, Jeremy, was on Daytona, and they really didn't have to worry about lifting or worry about other people's throttle or brake points. So coming into this one here, it looked like that the 97 just caught the 37 of Timothy Swiggett off guard there a little bit and made just ever so slight contact there that unfortunately collected a number of trucks.
Yeah, Jeremy Coors, I was watching his telemetry and it looked like he drove it too hard into that corner. Had to check up more so than what the 37 was thinking. Yeah, it did throw him off guard for sure. And he checked up, but just wasn't enough, and it tagged the 97's left rear. That's what caused the whole situation right there. Just trying to get a little too aggressive, a little too much on that high side. And that high side is, when you start up there, Dustin, it's a pretty tricky restart because it does pinch off kind of quick on that first corner, and then you can't really, as much as you want to hit the gas pedal full throttle in this corner, you have to have an early arc, or you can't do it even on the restarts. So it's just something that I don't know if you practiced or whatnot, or just misjudged the first entrance, but definitely caused it to have his truck back up, and that's how the 37 was able to get to this rear there.
Yeah, and it's, as you said, I mean, it did, there was a number of trucks that did get a piece of that in some way, shape, or form. On screen, you can see last week's winner of the 13 Fallen Heroes 250 at Daytona, that being Joseph Causey, got a big piece of that, front nose crinkled. Definitely looked like he got hammered in the back end there. There's a big dent there, but you also mentioned the 3 of Greg Holt, who was very fast. Last week at Daytona, also got a piece of that. You see Jeremy Coors is back on pit lane to the attention of his crew. So a number of very fast trucks got a piece of that in some way, shape, or form. But Jeremy, that's the thing about this track here. We've seen a number of times, we've seen cars, we've seen trucks, damaged or not, they can still put that thing in victory lane, even with the damage. I mean, as long as the motor is still operating at near peak 100%, then you can still get the job done.
Yeah, that's one of the beauties about this track is, especially turn 3 and 4, these trucks actually slow up down quite a bit. It does sharpen more so in 3 and 4 than it is 1 and 2. And so 3 and 4 doesn't really affect your aerodynamics as much as you think. So that's going to play the helping of the current trucks that are still damaged at the moment. Not sure if there was a fast repair setup or not, but it looks like Jeremy Coors' truck come out pristine out of the pit road, so he might have had a fast repair, or just his crew did an excellent job getting that thing set up. It looks like we have just one set of corners left before the pace truck dips down and we go back to green flag racing. Shane Posey is going to be your race leader coming to the line this time. He has elected to choose the inside line, which leader does have choice on that. Speaking of the pole setter or the front runner, so pace truck. Oh, next they're going to go one more time. I do apologize. So they're going to be going green next time.
Yeah, it does look like that they are extending that one more lap. Race Control was extending that one more lap, allowing some of those trucks to try to get repaired and get back out. And we did have some wave arounds that did get that as well. So they want to make sure that everybody was lined up nice and pretty and nice and tight and ready to go racing. And that's exactly what it looks like we're getting ready to do, as Shane Posey is leading the way. And to his outside is that 89 of Josh Gathright, who had a really good running last week at Daytona as well. So, again, we seeing a lot of these trucks here, Jeremy, and every single one of them is as much of a threat as the next. It's hard to tell exactly how this is going to end up and who's going to come out on top. I mean, it was a nail-biter down to the end last week at Daytona.
And to notate, too, the iRacing actually updated their game just yesterday, and they did some shock adjustments on all the oval cars, so a lot of drivers aren't familiar with how the new shock package is. I would imagine the setup's pretty similar, but they definitely can tweak the shocks a little bit more than previous, so we'll see how that plays out as well as we wait for the green flag here. Shane Posey ready to hit the go pedal, and looks like we got green flag out. Shane Posey with the delayed start. The 89 is about the same Same reaction times. They're going to enter the corner almost side by side here. We'll see if they give a little more give and take here. Entering the first corner, looks like it's a little more cleaner than at first. Back of the pack, actually. They're 3 or 4 wide, but they're clearing that out just fine. Shane Posey and the 89 are both side by side entering turn 3, Dustin.
Yeah, these two have been nose to nose as Shane Posey finally takes that top spot. In there, you're talking about the rim riding that we had mentioned before. You actually get to see it in person, live action there. Is Shane starting to put a little distance now as he's out to about a 3 truck length lead.
Jeremy Boucher just hit the back end of the 22 of Richard Malagani and put him into the wall early. It's got some heavy right-end damage as he gets loose again. The 22 of Richard, he collects it though, and he's a little bit slow in the backstretch, Dustin. He's got some pretty heavy damage. Yeah,
it does look like he has some heavy damage on the right rear of that truck there. But excellent save there. His camera angle swung around right as he was getting ready to save, and you can see that as he pans by, you can see the right side of that truck definitely scraped it heavy going along that wall there. But again, like you were talking about, a lot of these setups, a lot of these drivers, they've been testing and tuning on these. Some of these setups are loosened at the beginning of it, and mind you, we had a lot of laps under caution as well. So some of these drivers may still be trying to build up a little bit of pressure in those tires. As you see the 97 now, as we're looking at the 22 of Malagani, the 97 is starting to make his way through here as he was right alongside of the 2 there of Hazel. And it's the 97 looks like he's trying to make some moves there. The unfortunate thing right now is he's not up in the running as he is marked a number of laps down as it sits right now. So he's just trying to make up ground at this point in time, Jeremy.
Yeah, he's 2 laps down currently, and he's just trying to get himself back into a position to where maybe it'll benefit him on this next restart. If he gets an early enough caution, he could just elect to stay out because the tires are fresh enough. He could, gain a lap back that way and then try to get the lucky dog from that point forward. But he's definitely showing some muscle. He just passed the 22. Even though he's got some damage, he's still 8th place. And Jeremy Court is even 2 laps down, showing that he can contend probably for that tie 5 once he gets up there. Moving back up a little bit up in the field here, the 01 of Jeremy Boucher making some moves here, trying to go on the high side of the number 8 of Bryson. Had a check up there at the very exit of turn 2, and they're going to remain single file entering turn number 3 here as the whole field rather single file all the way through. Was pit stop by Josh Benoit. He's got some extra damage, it looks like. He's been running a couple laps down as well. Continue to work on that truck as we see. And actually the number 2 as well, Connor Hazel, slaps the outside of turn number 4 just a little bit. That didn't look like it was much at all, but see how that plays for him here in just a little bit. Current runner right now is Shane Posey. He's got a big lead. Looks like about 2-second advantage over second place of Jeff Converse. Showing some dominant speed right now early on. But I know, Dustin, this track can eat your tires up if you do push it too hard too early. Even though that 83 looks pretty solid at this time, he got to keep his tires clean or else... we got a caution on the track, Dustin.
Yeah, as you were just talking about that, you do, as you look to see exactly where that caution was at, you got to be careful with this because this track can eat tires up. They don't call her the Lady in Black for nothing. That is for damn sure. But he's definitely pulling out, and he's definitely very stout early on in this race, that being the 83 of Shane Posey. But again, the 92 of Jeff Converse showing a lot of strength as well as he was starting to gap it as well.
Yeah, the caution actually looks like came from the number 9 truck of Bradley Brandon. His internet connection kind of blinked out a little bit, so it's hard to tell on my end to see what happened, but he slapped the outside of turn number 4 a couple times, and then the truck got loose, kicked inside. It spun out, and from that point, it looked like he hit the inside wall, and that's when his car disappears on my end. But so that's huge contact. He's back on the track as you look at his inside there. This crew's got a lot of work to do to get that truck back in running.
Yeah, and we were watching it. He scraped the wall going through 3 and 4 and bounced off of it. The 37 of Timothy Swiggett was to his inside and was on the bad receiving end on that one there. Just with the amount of space that it took from bouncing off the wall, being the 9 of Bradley Brandon. was just enough just to clip the right front of the 37 of Swiggett there. Swiggett getting a very big piece of it as well, unfortunately, on that one there. So definitely two heavily damaged trucks on that one there. But again, I mean, it's Jeremy, we were talking about it, man. There's the Darlington stripe right there. I mean, that wall is vicious, and she does not give. She is. There is nothing worse than a woman scorned, and trust me, the walls here at this track are definitely scorned.
Yeah, I mean, they can paint these walls as much as they want. It's not gonna, at the end of each race, these walls get torn up, with heavy contact or just light scrapes. But and as we mentioned just a little bit ago, Jeremy Corzo was making those big moves early on. That early caution that I mentioned did come in his favor, so he's going to be able to get one of his laps back. I do believe so. We'll definitely put him in position if he can keep that speed up. Maybe get the lucky dog and put him on the lead lap.
Yeah, and it's not out of the question, especially at this track here. I mean, you've seen the cautions that we have had. That's it. They're racing deals going in. One going from a big plate track down to a track where you can't go wide open all the time. You have to have a little bit of throttle control and brake, and it does. It's caught me off guard from time to time. I know it has you as well, Jeremy, going from one size to the other. And it was just a racing deal. The other one, the most recent one with Bradley Brandon, is the same way. I mean, that was just Darlington being Darlington, and it was real close air and just ever so slight contact after bouncing off the wall there, which doesn't have much control other than trying to pull it off. So again, expect a couple more cautions along those lines. We've seen a lot of hard side-by-side racing going on here. I mean, Shane Posey being out front, pulling away. The 92 of Jeff Converse was trying to chase Shane down prior to that caution. But we've seen that group from third on back was definitely battling it out with the 89 of Gathright, the 01 of Boucher, and the 04 of Porter picking up right where they left off from last week, Jeremy, and kind of duking it out there and racing good side-by-side clean racing, just trying to get everything they can before pit stops.
Yeah, absolutely. They were definitely doing some good racing for sure. I want to mention that Bradley Brandon, that 9 truck that did cause that crash, he got sent to the end of longest line. He came down for some repairs, and the team said that was it. The terminal damage done to the number 9. He has exited tonight's event alongside Danny Chandler as well, which I do believe was involved in that early incident. His damage was too much for his truck. He has also backed out of tonight's event. Got about 1 lap to green here. Your leader, once again, Shane Posey, going to remain on that inside. It worked out great for him the first time, and he's going to do it again. He's got a new person on his outside there. It won't be Jeff Converse this time. It's going to be... Actually, it will be Jeff Converse. It will be Jeff Converse. Joshua Gathright third, and then Jeremy Boucher is going to be your end up the top 2 rows there as they're about to go green flag. Yeah, so again, the Lady in Black has claimed her first 2 casualties of the night. Once these vehicles, and that's any race, happens, as you see the pace truck pulls down, once the damage is too much, it's just you can't make anything up. As we're going side by side here, the Shane Posey leads the trucks going down the front stretch. As we get a green flag, kind of a little bit of a slow start again on that. It might be something that Shane's kind of working with. Contact already right off the start of the 0-1. The inside wall. No caution just yet, Dustin. They remain green flag. I know admins have discussionary cause, but it looks like they're remaining green at this time. Surprisingly, huge damage to the 89. Yeah, we're going to go back and take a look as caution finally does come out. We're going to go back and take a look at what happened. I know the 0-1 of Jeremy Boucher got a piece of that. And I think we're actually going to try to take the blimp here and see what we can't get from this restart. It seemed like a good restart right at the start, and then everything just kind of went haywire. Still seemed like there was a little bit of space in between the 89 of Gathright and the 0-1 of Boucher. But it seemed like it was just enough to kick them sideways on that one there. Correct me if I'm wrong on your angle there, but I do believe that one there might be chalked up to a netcode issue, which we do know has been plaguing iRacing for some time now. Yeah, what I'm seeing on my end is Gathright and Boucher were basically trying to fight for the same spot. It looks like Boucher wanted to put him down a little bit, and then Gathright wanted to move up a little bit. So they kind of shifted their line all into the same line. And of course, physics don't allow you to be in two trucks in the same spot. There might have been a little net code, but it looks like for the most part, there was some type of contact trying to merge into one line there. And then I think that's what caused them to spin out. So it's just a little early miscommunication, so to speak, between the two trucks and just what line they want to enter the corner in. And that ultimately put them both into the wall there.
Yeah, and you looking at it from another angle there as we were watching it again, as you had seen it. It does look like that is the case. There might have been a little bit of net code on that one there, but not a whole lot when it comes to that. As we're going to go on board with Malagani here, who just barely missed the 0-1 of Boucher there with the truck kicking sideways a little bit. Last-ditch effort there to get around it, so good bit of wheel driving on Rich's part on that one there, as he was, he's already had a little bit of damage from earlier contact there, so again, nice job keeping that out of the way and keeping it as clean as possible.
I was real impressed. It looked like he was definitely going to make some contact there at the 0-1, and at the last moment, he did right and almost spun it. A little drift, didn't hurt anybody, didn't hurt anything, and yeah, that was an excellent job on his part to avoid the 0-1.
So again, we are under our third caution of the night, and so far, 2 out of the 3 cautions, Jeremy, have been off of a start or a restart. Right going into turn 1, it seems like turn 1 is that very treacherous kind of situation there. At this point in time, I would almost expect the drivers to try to take it easy a little bit. We're already starting to see a number of crunched up cars there, and of number of front ends that are kind of messed up. But here's what I want to show you folks, is even though these drivers have crunched up, we are right now looking at the 83 of Shane Posey, who's leading this, and the 92 of Jeff Converse, and right behind him is the 8 of Brian Dirting. Look at how clean their cars are. You go back just a number of spaces to 6th place, and right back there's last week's winner, being Joseph Causey, is running in 6th place right now, and look how beat up his truck is. Even with that damage, Jeremy, they can still be competitive, and this right here just goes to show.
Model that we're looking at, it looks like a power pole just rear-ended him or something, because that thing is just smushed only in the center bumper there. But being the rear of the car, or truck for this instance, aerodynamics are not affected as much, though we just got a little bit of splitter damage, which that could affect some aerodynamics. You see it's picked up a little bit there toward the center left part of the grill area on the nose. But more air can get underneath that truck than what he wants. That can make your truck a little tighter, especially on the longer run. Even for the short run, that matter, because they're running faster, so aerodynamics are actually more of a concern. So, but yeah, as you just mentioned, this track doesn't warrant it as some other tracks. So he's running comfortably in 6th place. It looked like his truck was fine on that little bit of a green flag run from before. As you see, the pace truck has dipped down. Once again, your leader going to be Shane Posey, waiting to that flagman to wave the green flag. Here any second, there it goes, green flag. Another little bit of delayed start, or really good timing there by the 92 of Jeff Converse, as they both do about a 2 truck length advantage in turn 1.
Yeah, Shane Posey does take that spot over going in, but right on his coattails is the 92 of Jeff Converse. Jeff's showing that he's got some speed at this track too, but it does look like that going in, coming out of the corner, it looks like Shane has a little bit on the 92 coming out of the corner and going down the stretch, but it looks like the 92 might get into the corner just a hair better. But it's right now, that speed coming off of turn 2 and turn 4, and that speed down that straightaway is prevailing right now, as Shane Posey is lengthening out his lead now to about a 3-car length lead. Following back behind Jeff Converse is that 24 of Jason Miz, who is running a clean race right now. We haven't called his number, but I tell you what, the more that he runs like that, he's running a very clean, solid race. He's doing quite well. we're going to keep calling his name and number as the night progresses on. I do love that paint scheme, by the way. Very nice looking paint scheme. Speaking of paint schemes, from one Hurricanes fan to another, look at who's running in fourth. We just talked about that bashed and beat up truck, but it does not seem like it is affecting him, as we have our fourth caution is out for the night.
I have the number 48 and the number 2. 2 got a little bit loose on the exit of turn number 2 and collected the 48 in heavy contact. Both those trucks on the inside wall, the exit of turn number 2, that'd be Andrew Schroeder and Connor Hazel. They both, that's heavy damage, Dustin. I don't know if they're going to be able to recover from that. If they have that fast repair, then maybe. But other than that, the number 2, actually, with Connor, he actually glitched into the wall. As you see him, just kind of rubber band back and forth on the wall. And excellent driving, too, by some of these other drivers to avoid him. One truck in particular, the 0-1 there of Jeremy Boucher, just almost clobbered the 48.
That was such heavy damage there. We just watched it on screen.
Barely miss him.
Yeah, that was such heavy damage. We just watched it on screen. Heavy impact by both the 2 and the 48 as we did that. And as you were saying, we're actually going to go on board now with the 55 of Tyler Bentley. He nearly got a huge piece of this incident leading up to it, but somehow was able to get through. Almost got hit by the 48 and just squeaked it through. Good piece of driving, and there was a number of drivers that did that, Jeremy, that were able to just miss that wreck. But again, heavy impact by the 2 and the 48 there. I don't know if they'll be able to come back from that one there. The 48 got airborne on that one there, and that's who actually came up the track. And a couple of these trucks had to take evasive maneuvers in order to get around.
Yeah, absolutely. That was some great driving there by those drivers to avoid them. A little bit of a strategy going on here. Going back up to the lead trucks, your top 2, Shane Posey and Jeff Converse, entered pit road. Everybody else looked like they stayed out, at least for the top runner. So Jason Miz will resume your leader when they go back to green flag racing. That Hurricanes truck, position number 2, also with a lot of damage from that very first incident, Mr. Greg Holt. 3 truck in 3rd place. So 2 trucks in the top 3 with some damage, and they don't care. They're still running fast as they can, and it's paying off, Dustin.
Yeah, I would say at this point in this juncture in the race, I mean, we're getting ready to come around for 30 laps out of 125. I'd say it's working out quite well right now. Let's just hope that with that damage, we don't know how that's going to affect their setup long term. So it's only time will tell. But as it sits right now, I tell you what, they're not holding anything back, and they're putting themselves in a good spot right now. I'm interested to see how these pit strategies are going to work. We did see that your race leader, Shane Posey, did come down pit road, and that he had a number of followers come with him on that one there. So what you are going to see, folks, is going to be 2 separate pit strategies that may not seem like it makes a difference right now, but as the race goes on and we near the end, could play a bigger factor in it than what we know. These drivers do this all the time. They calculate out fuel. They know what's going on, and pit strategy plays a bigger part into racing than what a lot of people realize. And we may find out here, Jeremy, in roughly about 95 laps or so, exactly how well it's going to play out.
Yeah, for those who don't actually race on this sim or any sim for that matter, it's strategy's huge. Some people just think maybe you just strap in and drive until your truck runs out of gas, and then you take a pit stop and keep going on, rinse and repeat. But no, some of these drivers actually have a game plan of what lap they want to pit and how they want to pit, and plug and play type of racing. But your fast truck of the night, Shane Posey, so far will resume in 9th place, and Jeff Converse will be 10th, and everybody else that pitted behind them will be behind them as well. Like I said, your top spot right now is going to be held by Jason Miz, and second by Joseph Kazi. Connor Hazel was deemed the responsible truck for that incident, and he was given the EOL penalty. But that truck having a lot of damage, I don't expect him to maybe get up back to where he was for sure, but that's definitely an unfortunate thing. Let's see if we can get some green flag laps this time by. as the pace truck does dip down. Waiting for your new leader of the night, Mr. Jason Miz, to press the go pedal. Should be here any second to start lap number 31. Green flag is out. Clean start. It looks like initially no tire spin. Jason does get a little advantage over the 88 entering turn 1.
Yeah, so far it looks like a clean start as a lot of the drivers are up on that high line. You see the 24, 88, and 27 are rim riding that. The 3 of Holt is down low again. He does fall into that 4th position, but he's under a lot of fire right now from the 0-4 of Cody Porter as he tries to fall in line. You do see a number of different lines here. Some of the drivers are electing to rim ride. Some of the drivers look like they're running almost a midline going through that those corners, Jeremy. You just see a little bit of the spark shoot out from the back end of the 3 of Greg Holt as he skims the wall. Again, nothing different when it comes to Darlington and the lady in black there. You are looking at your top 5 there, nose to tail. That's a 24, the 88, that's a 27. You got the 3 of Greg Holt and the 0-4 of Cody Porter. They are all right there in striking distance. 6th place right back there. You seen him just come into the frame is going to be that 55 of Tyler Bentley is running back there. Again, Tyler Bentley did some excellent evasive maneuvers to miss that wreck involving the 2 of Hazel and the 48 of Schroeder. And then there's a little bit of space now back to your former race leader, who is currently in hot pursuit right now, being Shane Posey. And Jeremy, he's fast and he's picking up a lot of speed right now, starting to close those gaps.
He is definitely on the move. He is hunting. He's usually a little bit more tired than what he was before. Entering turn 3 and 4 there, he kind of ran lower than what he usually does. And he's hunting, man. Him and Jeff are on the move. They want that top spot back. They know that's where they're safe and they're most comfortable. As you see Shane go to the inside here of Tyler Bentley, 4th, 6th position entering turn number 3. He gives him all the space in the world. Shane takes it freely. He resumes in 6th place now.
Yeah, and again, Jeff Converse in that 92 is also there, but there's also another fight for position just ahead of the 83 of Shane Posey. That's the 3 of Holt and the 0-4 of Porter. Porter was kind of looking to the inside as we see the 24 has lost the race lead now as Jason Miz is starting to fall back. Tires might be starting to affect him a little bit there, or it might be a strategy. Might be trying to stretch those tires out a little bit more as the 0-3 of Holt is in the wall, is able to get unstuck from that wall, but a lot of trucks have to check up there as you see the 92 of Converse gets a little sideways. The 0-1 of Boucher going way low on that, passing both the 3 and the 55 going down that stretch.
That was a risky 3-wide move. You rarely see that at Darlington, but all that asphalt at the bottom, you can kind of cut that corner low and make it happen. And when you got a slow truck, you got to sometimes do those kind of risky passes, and it worked out great for him. That's a shame there for Holt. He had such a good run there after getting that 3rd spot, but that wall glue that you mentioned in practice is just... It's horrific when you get stuck up there because, the wall does not let you go and it scrubs an amazing amount of speed off your truck. So he's got some work to do to get back up to the front. As we go back up to the front here, Jason Miz, he actually let the current race leader go by on the high side, and he actually checked up way more and let 2nd place go. So I think it was just a little bit of a strategy because he knows his truck isn't as fast as it was on the start. And as you see, he dips down low once again. He's going to let Shane Posey go. That's going to give Shane Posey 3rd place. Jeff Converse didn't actually hold up with him. This is where Shane started spacing out from 2nd and 3rd place at this point in the race, only with 10 laps or so on the tires. And that 83, Dustin, that thing's got some power. It's got some grip. That setup is hooked up right now. Yeah,
it is hooked up. The 92 of Converse had to check up when the 3 of Holt got into the wall there. He was one of the trucks that got sideways and had to check up when the 0-1 of Boucher took it 3 wide on that very risky move that did pay off, though, as it was done very clean. So that's kind of what cost Jeff Converse in that 92 a little bit of time there, and he's trying to make that back up. Otherwise, he was sticking with the 83 of Shane quite nicely, but I agree. As it sits right now, that 83 truck is hooked up and on a rail. As right now he is trying to chase down the 27 of Oscar Jensen. Glad to see that Oscar Jensen is having a good race. He had a little bit of bad luck at Daytona, but that's just kind of the way the cards fly and the way they kind of lay when it comes to Daytona. 50% of that race there is luck on its own. But Oscar running a very clean race as he's trying to chase down Kazi, who was in that early first race incident going into turn 1 and got a little bit of damage. But I tell you what, that damage is not slowing him down, and it's a good thing because he's got the 27 of Jensen behind him, and Posey is chopping at the bit right now, chasing him down.
Yeah, Posey's, he was 2/10 faster 2 laps ago, a 10th faster this lap. So he's only 1.5 now behind the leaders. As this run goes on, though, we'll see how the tires cook off for the 83. But right now, he is a man on a mission, and he is pushing. He wants that lead, and he's got the leader within 1.5 seconds. So he's definitely motivated to get back in that top spot in that Nerditude's truck. Everybody else single file back for the most part. Everyone's just kind of laying low, taking it easy at this point. We're getting closer to the middle of the race tonight, entering lap number 42 of 125 of your Mission 22 Stop Veteran Suicide 125. They had their caution sprees, and now they're kind of relaxed and just holding current positions at the moment. The 88, I did mention, is damaged, but that's definitely not affecting him. Going back to your race leader, as he just actually clips the wall a little bit, that's going to slow that truck up quite a bit, Dustin. 27 is going to reel him in here on the front stretch.
Yeah, he just scraped it a little bit, but right now the 27's under a lot of fire from the 83 of Shane Posey. These drivers are definitely going to have to make some adjustments and rally together to figure out exactly what the 83 team has done, because they gave him a rocket right now. But like you had said, it looks like that the number of cautions that we've had now, the drivers are starting to spread out as Shane's having a little bit of difficulty trying to get by the 27 based on the line that he ran. Finally gets that run and that nose on that inside. The 27 of Jensen ran a very different line, ran right in the mid of that corner as he pulls an outlaw move on Posey, doing the crossover contact made, coming through. Both the 27 and the 83 hit the wall on that one there. No caution comes out at this point in time, but both trucks, Jeremy, are showing a lot of damage. As a 27 tried the crossover move, and it looked great until it drifted up just a least little bit on that, and it didn't seem like it made much contact at all. And Shane's coming back at him now, making sure that he's going to complete this pass and get by him after this one here. Shane does drift up in front of him there, and that's what allowed for the crossover move before, but Shane Posey does complete the pass and does spread it.
He hit that wall a ton off the exit of turn 2, and that truck slowed up a lot. I'm surprised, Dustin, that he's even passing trucks again. Doesn't look bad as far as speed goes after that incident. I'm really impressed with how durable that truck's running right now, at how he's able to maintain speed. He is now 6 seconds, that's huge, because that was the threat of tonight. So far into this race, being 45 laps in, and he remains in 5th place, though. Got a lot of work to do to get that truck probably back up to speed. I would not imagine he's at a normal pace at this point. After he finds his groove, I'm sure there's something bent, something torn up in that truck that can't be handling correctly, even though he's not really showing it on camera. But I'm sure he's working that wheel a little bit more than what he was previously.
Right, and we're watching right now on the live feed the 27 who was involved in that. Both him and the 83 of Posey both got in the wall hard, and I don't know, Jeremy. Something on that 27 truck might be bent a little further than what is in that comfort zone for driving, because he's been in the wall a couple times here, and we hadn't seen that the entire time he was running up in 2nd place. And it's caused a checkup on a number of drivers and contact with a number of drivers as well, as he's trying to get the handle of that. I guarantee you right now that 27 cannot wait to get that forward to the service of his crew to try to get some of that damage repaired, because it definitely looks like some of that contact. Yeah,
I'm going to have to agree with you. I'm watching his truck, and he is not doing nearly what he was doing before as far as his racing line goes. He's kind of playing a little bit conservative, not going up against the wall, which if your truck's at normal speed here, you do run up to that wall. That's where the speed typically is at with most of your racing setups. And when you're running the middle of the track in the corners, to me, that just shows that he's definitely not up to speed. And as you clearly can see, even the damage 37 from earlier just clears him no problem whatsoever. So Oscar has a lot of damage to repair. He is begging for a caution. I would imagine inside that cockpit of his truck, Um, recap on the leader though, Joseph Kazi got about a second, just over a second lead over Jeff Converse, who is now taking over second place after Oscar and Shane had their incident. As Jeff actually a little bit in the wall. If that wall glue slows him down quite a bit, that's going to allow Cody Porter in the 0-4 to get up to his bumper here in turn number 1. Let's see if he dips down. He does. He goes for the pass and takes over second place over Jeff. Oh, hard in the wall again, Jeff goes. He's got some issues with his truck right now.
Yeah, I see a lot of very uncomfortable drivers out there. Nothing like what it was at the start of the race with fresh tires and no damage. A lot of these drivers, they don't seem as comfortable. We were just talking about the 27 of Oscar Jensen was one of those drivers. I mean, at this last restart, he was running up trying to chase down the 88 of Kazi and was looking very comfortable, and he even doesn't look comfortable. And I can't imagine that inside wall contact helped at all. But that's not something that we typically see from the 92. But he even at times seems like that he's not 100% comfortable with that truck there. Or maybe he just pushes it just a little too close, and with the temps in the tires and the way that they are, it's just enough that wall reaches out and grabs you there. But either way, he has fallen to fourth place, and he has given up that second and third place to Cody Porter and Jeremy Boucher, respectively, as the 0-1 is working his way slowly back up again. And Cody Porter, essentially a clean truck as it goes there. Let's hope I don't jinx Mr. Porter there. Seems like that happened last week a number of times. You think I'd learned my lesson, but we're gonna see. But he's definitely kept that truck clean. As he's now trying to chase down the 88 of Kazi, as Kazi's now starting to get around some lap traffic as he just passed the 67 of Scott Martin, who was involved in an earlier incident, is now chasing down the 33 of Holmes.
Yeah, lap cars definitely play a huge factor in this race with any car that you put on this track compared to most other tracks because of how narrow the racing surface is. Just from that last lap, Cody Porter caught Joseph Kazi by 0.7 of a second just because he had to get around one truck. So huge implications there as far as the leader goes, as they got 2 lap cars separating first and second place right now. Cody was able to gain a little bit of ground, just over 1 second now behind race leaders. A couple of the trucks behind him get a little contact. Looks like they're able to straighten it out. No worries there, but Cody on the move rather. I've been watching him past few laps so far, and as you said, like that truck pretty clean, and that setup is running really solid. I'm not seeing any looseness whatsoever. He's not shoving up to the wall. He's just running a really comfortable line. And every lap he catches Joseph Kazi just little by little, as they got no trucks now separating them. So we'll see what the tires look like, but they are definitely quite worn. Also, to mention that Oscar Jensen, that 27, did have to park it. He had way too much damage. We noticed how slow he was, and that was unfixable and too uncomfortable to drive. So he has pulled down. That's the third truck that the lady in black has consumed tonight.
Yeah, and again, it's an unfortunate thing because he was running so well up there after that last restart, trying to chase down the 88 of Kazi. Speaking of Kazi, as coming into frame a little bit there, was wall slapping it again, which is not what he wants to do, especially with that 0-4 of Cody Porter is chasing him down and chasing him down in a big way as we go on board right now with Cody Porter. Jeremy, it seems like he's running a little bit more of a conservative line there. He's not really pushing it up against that wall. He's putting it right there, right in between those two tar lines. He does drift it up a little higher on that one there, but I have seen him more so than other drivers kind of run a little bit more conservative, and it seems like it could be paying off right now as he closes in on the back bumper of the 88 of Kazi. Kazi goes high. 04 of Porter tries to stick it low, which is very hard because that high line is the fast line. That's why passing at this track is so hard, and has to pull back in line behind the 88.
Yeah, it's a combination of damaged truck versus clean truck, and then the factor that the tire wear, the 04 might have been playing a little bit conservative, saving those tires for this run. I'm not too sure how much laps they have left on the tank, but right now the 04 is there. He's just going to wait patiently until he gets an awesome run there on the inside, because Joseph has not given up that top spot top side of the track. he wants to keep that lead as much as possible to lead the most laps if he can. 04 looking like really strong here. A little bit of a wiggle there off of turn 4 as he dips down low. He's going to go try to side by side, but nope. Kazi kind of pinches him off in the entrance of turn number 1. Checked up to 04, and he's going to have to go back at him again.
Yeah, these two here are duking it out in a big way, as they have been for a little bit. The 04 Porter tries it again. Dips it down a little lower than what he has been, trying to get that truck to stick. He's got to keep that inside nose coming off that corner there if he wants to try to get that run and try to complete that pass going in the next set of corners, which he does coming out of that corner there and is able to put it in there, slides up right in front of the 88. We have a new race leader, ladies and gentlemen. That is the 04 of Cody Porter. Excellent bit of racing by both Porter and Kazi on that one, as they put on a hell of a show there.
Yeah, it was just a matter of time. That truck is so strong, and so he's finally able to clear him, and you're going to see him just tear away here. That damage is starting to eat up the 88 quite a bit here. Jeremy Boucher all of a sudden comes into the picture. That truck is torn up as well, but I think he just saved his tires maybe because Joseph Kazi is now dropping to the wayside of him, and Cody Porter already close to a second advantage over now second place runner Joseph Kazi.
Yeah, and right behind him, just coming into the frame picture there, as you see the 01 of Boucher chasing down Kazi, is the 92 of Converse. And you know what, Jeremy? I'm going to stop putting the camera on the 92 of Converse. It seems like every time we put the camera on him, he wall slaps a little bit and drags it just ever so slightly. He'd probably very much appreciate that we don't put the camera on him either, as many times as that's happened. At times, I feel like the broadcast crew, we jinx drivers, and it's not our intention. We don't mean to, but it's just the way that it happens from time to time. But again, 92 of Converse is there. Shane Posey, after that early race contact that he had with the 2 on that, is still sitting in the top 5 now. Truck not operating and not handling the way that the way it was early in the race, which is to be expected with the damage that happened. You see heavy right front damage on that, as well as left rear damage, but nonetheless still holding up in the top 5, very strong. And then the Fat Caterpillar, we've seen this individual hit the wall, get sideways, save it, prevent a caution from coming out. He did some evasive maneuvering and has still found his way into 6th place right now, as he is trying to chase down the 83 of Shane Posey. So again, good to see Rich the Fat Caterpillar Malagani out there running very clean. I know he was looking forward to this race, and I know he put some time in on it, and it's showing right now as he's running that 6th place. And somebody who we haven't mentioned all race long, and it seems like that's typical, Jeremy, is the 06 of Clayton White. It seems like that's very typical of him. Looks like he does elect to start off in the back and slowly work his way back up. I don't know if maybe that's to let the setup come to him, or just to try to be conservative. I know you're one that's very much like that, Jeremy. You like to try to conserve and save tires, and that's usually how you beat me in the long run every time anyway. You think I'd learn my damn lesson, but not yet. But he is working and been, again, a very clean race truck there, as he's running 7th. Andy Briganti in that 13 truck is running in 8th position right now. Again, very clean truck. I haven't mentioned his name, but a lot of these drivers have been running more of a concerting in that 8. Again, conservative style approach, but running very, very well, as we see a number of drivers that are starting to hit pit road a little bit here. As a 24 of Miz is in pit road. We do see a number of drivers that have been coming off of pit road as well. So overall, Jeremy, I mean, the drivers are doing an excellent job on this. They're hard racing. But their trucks are definitely showing the battle wounds and battle scars of the Lady in Black.
They really are. At this point in time, they're about 2.5 seconds off their qualifying time, so it just shows you how much tire wear the trucks have gone through. And seeing some of these trucks pit, that just means I think everyone else is going to be following shortly. Behind Bryson, as you mentioned, in 9th place, everybody behind them are currently 1 lap or more down. That'd be starting with 10th place with Greg Holt, 1 lap down. So over half the field has more than a lap to make up if they want to go back to the contention, as admins have actually thrown the yellow flag just as I was talking there. I'm going to try to go back and look for it, and it looks like it was the 55 of Tyler Bentley was involved in that.
Don't exactly know what happened. I do know that the drivers that were racing there were racing for position. I do believe the 0-1 of Boucher got in the wall a little bit, and it kind of bottlenecked everything up as they were coming through the corners. They were all racing real close. The 88 of Kazi, 0-1 of Boucher, and the 92 of... And that's what happened. The 0-1 just kind of got wall glued and got unpinned from that wall. And as you know it, Jeremy, when you get unpinned from that wall, there is that initial pull down on it, and the 55 was there and just got collected on it in an unfortunate event on that one there.
Yeah, that's super unfortunate. Yeah, whenever you come off these walls, because they're sharp, especially in that turn 3 and 4, like you have to pull that wheel down hard, and he was unable to go back up to the top before he got into the right side of Tyler Bentley, who was currently a couple laps down. That's super unfortunate for them, and also for Jeff Converse. I don't think he wanted to see that yellow because he was actually getting close to passing the leader. That truck had so much steam on there, and I know you don't want to put the camera on it, but how can you not when you have that much speed? But they're all going to be back on the level playing field, as I'm going to imagine that a couple of trucks are going to get their damage fixed. Shane Posey, I'm really curious to see what he's going to be doing as far as his pit strategy, see if he comes down multiple times, because I think that truck's got some heavy damage. He was running off pace, Dustin. I think he actually, when he got back up to speed, he was about 6 seconds back of the leaders, and he was almost 10 seconds back whenever that caution came out. So he's definitely off the pace for sure, a few seconds per lap. And all these other trucks too that have been wall slapping, because the Darlington stripes have tallied up. There's too many to count. I don't know if you're keeping count, but there's way too many out there for me to count. So as they tally up, those trucks need more repairs and more repairs, and definitely given the making the pit crew earn their salaries.
Definitely they are. Yeah, I lost count as well, which is typical of this track here. I mean, anytime anybody tries to keep count of it, we typically lose count as things go on. And it gets very, very tough on that. But this caution, it's never good to see a caution come out like that. But again, it's a racing incident when it comes to Darlington and being wall glued, as we see the 13 does come pull it down pit road of Andy Berganti on that one there. He did lead a lap, I do believe, so he does get that bonus point. The 33 of Holmes does pull down. Ron Holmes does pull down pit road as well, and you do see the 37 of Swiggett there. The 92 of Converse is coming down pit road again. I'm pretty sure Darlington stripes, but it does look like he's coming down pit road to the service of his crew yet again as well. But up front right now, it does look like it's at 0-4 of Cody Porter. Does pull that back up there. And Jeremy, look who is running in that second position right now. It's the Fat Caterpillar is coming back out to play a little bit more. Definitely good to see the 22 up there. As currently he's running in that second position. So again, we see a lot of the key players up there. Kazi definitely looks like he's got some of that damage fixed. So that truck should, in theory, Jeremy, handle a little bit better than what it did. As you know that he came to the attention of his crew. Clayton White currently be shown in that fourth, but it does look like he's peeling back down pit road again. So again, there's still strategies always going on as we're cycling through pit stops under caution.
Yeah, we got about 53 laps to go, so I don't believe they can make it that far. So they got about one more green flag stop if we go green flag the rest of the way. I can't confirm Jeff Converse did pull down a second time. Wanted to repair his maximum amount of damage as possible before we went back to green flag. Even though his truck was showing up strong late, as you repair more of that damage, it just makes it faster and easier. So he will start to the tail end again, but that's going to be with a little bit of help from his teammate or with his teamwork, getting that truck repaired. And so it should be much faster this time around, but as we saw the massive tire wear fall off on that long green flag run, which is the first one we saw tonight, the drivers now know what they need to do to be there toward the late run if they do get another late run, because some of those trucks were just, they were awful to say the least. They were just so tight, they hit the wall, they had a bunch of right side damage, and you got to keep that truck a little cleaner if you want to make it here to the next 50 laps or so to be in contention of the race lead.
Yeah, you definitely do, Jeremy. As we're getting ready to go, and you know what, Jeremy? I think this is a prime time right now as these trucks are getting ready to roll. I think we should break out Nerd, the Nerd Enhanced Racing Decibels. let you guys enjoy the sounds of these high horsepower trucks as these drivers race at it. What do you say?
Let's get it.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Just letting you guys enjoy the sights and sounds, more so sounds than anything else, of the nerds there. Again, that is our Nerd Enhanced Racing Decibels, presented by Butt Kicker Audio. Again, take a look at the affiliate link for fuel. That is thebuttkicker.com/?. AFF equals 33. Be sure you use the promo code Fired Up for 20% off. Again, what better presenter for the nerd aspect than Butt Kicker itself, Jeremy? So again, enjoying the sights of these gentlemen racing as close and hard as what they are, and adding in that sound factor.
Yeah, having that underneath your seat while listening to those sounds of the trucks go by, it's a very unique feeling, and definitely check it out for sure. 20% is a huge discount off that product. So, going back to normal action here. Been pretty stationary, pretty quiet so far, minus the truck sounds. The very single file. No one's really looking to pass anybody at the moment. They're just kind of cruising, and I think they took my advice and just wanted to feel the trucks out a little bit more and not push it so hard to keep them a little bit stronger for the late run. In this run here, as I said, there's probably one more green flag stop if they go green the rest of the way, which we have not seen a green flag stop yet, Dustin. So we'll see if that changes up. But what I'm interested in is Shane Posey, that dominant truck that looked like it was going to be the truck to beat tonight. He's passing Jeff Converse, which is a great sign right now. That just tells me that he's got that truck somewhat dialed, and I know he's still 3.5 seconds back, but it's back up in competitive order, it looks like.
Yeah, and that's as you were saying that the cameras were honing in. The speed difference was ridiculous as he was closing in on the 92 of Converse. Now, it did look like he passed Converse very easy. The 92 did get into the wall and wall scrape it for another Darlington stripe a little bit. But the 83 does look like he is starting to find some of that speed that he was kind of missing early off after that early race contact that did create the damage that you see on screen right now. But again, that was we've said it time and time again, Jeremy. That's a great thing about this race here is you can have a damaged truck, you can have a damaged car. It doesn't matter what it is. It's like Bristol, baby. Which, speaking of Bristol, that is our next track coming up next week. So going to be another action-packed race. But you can finish a race with damage like that, and it doesn't affect the truck as much as what it would at a bigger speedway, so to speak. More your 1.5 miles, more your cookie cutter, your 2 mile, or your plates.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting when next one at Bristol. That's personally one of my favorites to watch and to race. And so anytime I go to that track, it makes me feel like a little kid. So definitely looking forward to next week on that one. Focusing in on your third place contender or runner-up right now, Richard Malagani. I'm really impressed, Dustin, with how that truck is cleaned up and running strong after getting slammed into the wall early in this race. By a glance, you couldn't even tell the thing hit the wall kind of hard. And Drew did an excellent job getting the thing repaired, and he's just kind of cruising right now. He's not passing anybody or not close to anybody, but I can tell you he's probably going to be waiting for that long run. His truck seemed to be pretty all right. Oh, as we got a wreck here, Shane Posey and looks like Jeff, both heavy contact inside of the turn one wall. Heavy damage on both once again. That brings out the caution for the 6th time tonight.
Yeah, we are going to go back and take a look at what happened there. That's 2 of your top contenders, 2 of your fast trucks that have been fast all night. We're going to kind of take a look. I do know that they've been racing hard and heavy since Shane caught up with Jeff. As we're going to watch coming down the stretch here. Jeff does get that... oh, man, I don't know. It almost looked like there was... Shane's truck reacted like there was a little bit of contact there. And it seemed like it kind of tagged the wall a little bit. But I don't know if netcode might have played a little part in that, because it looked like there might have been a little bit of space in between the back. But it's so hard to tell right now because of the damage on the back end of Shane Posey's truck. Where that contact patch actually was, but it did affect both of them there, and they both got a heavy piece on that one.
Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate. I can't confirm. In iRacing, at least most sims, but there's this thing called a hitbox. That shape physically never changes. It is one shape. It's a rectangle on the truck. So it creates contact points for the game to register contact. Shane Posey has some damage there on the left rear, which kind of shrunk in the left rear quarter panel, which kind of leaves that hitbox a little exposed, so to speak. You can't see it, but Jeff Converse didn't, I guess, fully notice that as he was trying to dip low, and that little bit of space between the bumper and the box, kind of, a little bit of invisible wall there, and that's what was able to make that contact happen. I don't think it was netcode or anything like that. I think it was just the hitbox there that was, not shrunken, of course. It's really unfortunate because, that wasn't necessarily Jeff's fault. He didn't see it there, but, and I think his truck is basically done for the night. I saw a lot of smoke coming out of that truck on the back stretch. And Shane Posey, once again, as I mentioned, he was strong. I think he was coming back to contend, and once again, he is going to be putting his crew to work, and maybe they get that truck fixed. That's another hard hits. I mean, 2 hits here like that at Darlington, your night's done.
Yeah, but I don't count him out yet. He's sitting at the whim of his crew. Pace truck is coming up there. As long as he beats that pace truck out and crosses that line, he will not go a lap down. And that's exactly what he's going to do. He knows exactly where that pace truck's at, as he does exit, does maintain and stay on the lead lap, trying to get as much repaired as possible. But yeah, I agree, Jeremy, after, when we watched that, and that's why I initially said that it's so hard to tell, where that bumper actually is, because where it visually is right now is not where iRacing is taking it, as talking about the hitboxes that you had mentioned. And if going based off of where the bumper was at, because there was already damage on the back of Shane Posey's truck, going with where the damage was at, the 92 of Converse definitely would have had that cleared and there wouldn't have been any contact. But I would have to tend to agree with what we've seen up here. And granted, we don't have every camera angle because we're broadcasting live like that, so trying to go back and review isn't always the easiest, and we can't always get the best angle as to not bring down the broadcast quality for everybody watching out there. But it does look like that's what it was the 92 just got close to that hitbox, and it was enough just to upset the 83 and put it in the wall. And then, as we've seen all night, Jeremy, hitting that wall, they bounce back off that wall, and usually whoever's to the inside is the unfortunate recipient of a little bit of contact.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate. Nothing that Jeff did wrong. He just didn't judge that distance. And I can tell you 2 or 3 trucks that actually wanted to see that. Your leader, Joseph Kazi, and your second place now, Richard Malagani. That's 2 trucks that were steaming fast, and they don't have to worry about him anymore. I don't think so here with lap 90 out of 125 coming up too. So that's 35 laps to go. My math is correct. As they about to go green flag here when the pace truck does dip down on turn 3 and 4. And the person that you talked about that we don't talk about too often, Clayton White, outside position number 4. He is that late runner. That's my kind of strategy, as you also mentioned that. It's a fine line when you try to play that waiting game, but he's doing it really smoothly so far. Pace truck is down. Looks like we're waiting for Joseph Kazi to get the green flag so he can press the go pedal here. There's a little contact 04 in the 13. They get it sorted out, but green flag, Joseph Kazi with an excellent start, leaving the 22 in the dust. That's going to leave Mr. Greg Holt, someone who had damage and was fighting back for position. He is now resuming in second place.
Yeah, and the 04 of Cody Porter is going to follow suit through, finally given an opening for that 22 of Rich Malagani to pull down. So Rich, unfortunately, losing 2 positions, going from second to 4th place, but they are not pulling away from him. He is still right there in attack distance there. But I tell you what, the battle right now is going to be for the second place as we see the 04 of Porter going to the inside of the 3 of Holt there. Again, very strong move there, and that 04 truck still looks pristine. And that may be a saving grace as this race winds down as we are on lap 91 of 125, getting ready to hit 92. You may see some of these trucks as the 88 of Kazi gets in the wall, allowing the 04 and the 3 of Holt to get by. The 04 of Cody Porter does take over your race lead once again, but is not that far ahead of that 3 of Greg Holt, who, Jeremy, we've seen had a fast qualifying lap and was fast last week too.
That's huge. I know Mr. Cody Porter is definitely the truck to beat at this point in time, it looks like, in the race, and Joseph was the only truck that was really contending other than Greg, it looks like, and to him to get that massive wall glove turn 4, heavy contact, 97 and the 13, they get it straightened out. Heavy right side damage to both of these trucks. They get it going, like I said, entering turn 1 now, nose to tail, and so they're going to be a little bit slow apparently with that damage, but that could have been pretty bad. But going back to the race lead in that top 3 for that matter, Joseph Kazi's got a lot of work. I know he was about on point with Cody, so him being over, a second and a half to 2 seconds back now with that damage, I don't know if he's got it in him, Dustin. I think he's going to need another caution to get another stab at Cody.
And he very well may need to. Greg Holt, Cody Porter's pulling away from Greg Holt right now. Greg right now has actually got Kazi trying to chase him down. Kazi trying to take over that second place, and Rich Malagani still in that 4th place. Again, Rich looking for a good finish from last week as well. Was kind of caught off key in some pit strategy. And did have some race contact, was involved in, an incident that like most Daytona races, have a hard time trying to get around. So he's definitely looking for a solid finish, and as long as he keeps driving the way that he does, Jeremy, even as it sits right now, he'd have to be tickled pink right now, squealing like a pig for a top 5 to try to get him bounced back up in the points.
Yeah, no kidding, for sure. Definitely got some work to do on that as we get lap 96 here. That's going to put us at 30 to go in this truck race. Cody Porter just being pretty dominant right now. As long as he runs his pace, I don't see any reason why he won't be in the top podium spot. Joseph Kazi with that damage, he has fallen back. I'm watching his lap times. He's almost 3 seconds back of Cody Porter now, so he's running a few tenths off per lap. That damage has taken its toll for sure. Outside of them, it's just the top 9, and everyone else, like I said, has been 1 lap down, so the boards kind of remain the same for the most part. Not too much action going on the track right now. The race lead, Cody Porter, like I said, he's going to be, I don't think anyone's got anything for him, Dustin, at this point. It's going to take a caution. It's going to take him to do a massive mental error. His truck has been running super solid, never been running up high to the wall. It's kind of running a real conservative line. I think at this point, I think he's good to go for the race win right now. At this point.
Yeah, and I agree. The question is, as far as fuel, do they have it to go the distance on fuel, and not only fuel, but the big question is tires. We know that some of these trucks are damaged. We know some drivers drive it a little harder than others. How much are they burning off? I would have to be led to believe that the 04 of Porter is trying to be a little bit more conservative, knowing the distance that he has, between himself and the 3 of Greg Holt, who we're watching right now. Now, on the flip side of that, Greg Holt here is probably running hard along with the 88 of Joseph Causey, as these two are duking it out, as that is your current battle for second place. So these drivers here are definitely working at it, as the 88 has been working the back bumper of the 3 of Greg Holt for about the last 3 laps now. It keeps getting closer and closer as these drivers are, again, they've been duking it out, Jeremy, for about the last 3 laps. Been putting on a hell of a show.
Oh, for sure. And Manson had some contact there with Shane Posey and Jeremy Coors entering turn 3. Shane just misjudged the corner and picked him up hard into the wall there a little bit, and allowed the 06 and 89 to get around him. I know they're at least the 97. He's a lap down. He's your top contender there for that lucky dog too. So he didn't need that. His truck was actually running pretty fast. Caution is out. It looked like actually the 97 going back to him live. Yeah, he contact with the 13 heavy contact for sure. 13 kept it going straight. 97 did a 360, and his truck's pretty heavily beat up at this point.
Yeah, no, it's as we're going back to take a look at the incident that did happen on that one there, and he was one that was involved in that early race incident going into turn 1, and it looked like the 13 there just overdrove it into the corner, which again, being the corners the way that they are is not uncommon to see. But did look like just overdrove it in the corner a little bit, made contact to the left rear quarter panel of the 97. 97 kind of went for a loop-de-loop on that one there in a spin cycle and is able to get it going. But that is your most recent caution as it sits right now.
That actually allowed Holmesy in the 33 to pass Jeremy Coors. We'll see how the admins score it, but right now Holmesy would be in your lucky dog spot and not Jeremy Coors, the one who was involved in that incident. So that's definitely unfortunate. If Holmesy does remain that spot, looks like the scoreboard actually kicked Jeremy back up front. So we'll see who gets that spot here when the admins look over it. See who gets that lucky dog. As you know, everybody else on pit road. Everyone's got fresh tires. At this point, Dustin, I say they're gonna be gearing up to just go for it. You got under 25 to go, and they're gonna probably take the green flag with 20 to go. It's go time for these trucks, even beat up or not. Like, you have to get everything you can. So this is where that turn 1 patience is going to run really thin. I do believe we're going to see probably another caution or two, because they're, like I said, they're going to be really aggressive here on these next restarts to get every spot possible to put itself in contention for the race win.
Yeah, and I completely agree. But you know what, Jeremy? This seems like a perfect time to take our last break for the night so that we can bring you live, uninterrupted action for the last remaining 20 laps of this race. So we are going to take a short intermission break. Again, video coverage will be uninterrupted, but we will be right back in just a few short minutes. All right, and welcome back. That was our last commercial break. Again, thanking iRacing, as well as Butt Kicker. Again, the official presenter of the Sounds of Nerd, as it is now known as well as an official sponsor for the Fired Up Esports League. We also want to thank sponsor Sticker Cabana. Again, they are the title sponsor for the Sticker Cabana Truck Series, which you are watching live as we are getting ready to bring the last 21 laps of racing action to you uninterrupted. And Jeremy, would you look at who is back at the point in tonight's race? Again, we got that 83 of Shane Posey up there, but we have a lot of drivers up there that have held that top spot, and some of them that are really wanting that top spot.
There's only one truck in the top 8 that has no damage. I'm really surprised that Shane's out there. I'm just curious to see how long he's going to be able to hold it, or if he's able to get that truck repaired. That's crazy to me that he's up there. We'll see what that goes as the green flag is out. Slow restart by that 83. It's going to leave Greg Holt, your current race leader, is 88 of Joseph Kazi is right on his tail in there, trying to see if he can get that spot right off the exit of turn number 2. As you see him, Joseph running really strong there on the exit of turn 2 this whole race. About nose to tail, equal speed with Greg. Gets a little bit of his draft. Entering turn 3, does keep it calm. Not going to go for the pass just yet. Greg runs a little low. Maybe a little bit of conservative. You maybe saw the 3 of Joseph go for a pass there. A little bit contact there, a little bit on the outside wall is number 3, and it checks up Joseph. And they still remain as the caution has come back out once again for, I think it's the 8th time tonight. As we go back to look for this incident, it looks like it might have been the 06 of Clayton White off the exit of turn number 4. Dustin just kind of gets loose, holds the brake down right in front of the pack, and Shane Posey once again involved in another incident.
And that's an unfortunate thing because the 06 of Clayton White was one of those that had a fairly clean truck. But it does look like the lady in black does reach out and take herself another soul there. But that one there, again, like you said, was just loose. Tried to get the brakes to try to bring it back and just couldn't do it. And like you said, Shane Posey finding himself in the wrong place at the wrong time a number of times tonight. I don't know what the lady in black has against that 83, but he might want to look at possibly changing his number before the night's done, just to see if maybe the lady in black just doesn't like 83, because the way the luck's been falling, he's just been in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I mean, the top 2 is the number 3 and the 88, so it can't be the 8 or the 3, so maybe it's just that number combination. But yeah, he's got to clean the slate for Bristol next week, because Darlington has not been nice to him so far tonight. Just under 20 laps to go, and once again he's got to repair. Like I think the crews earned their salary and then some. They're getting overtime pay at this point. It's how many times they've had to beat and bang on the fenders and get that truck back up to the working order. But he did have a bad restart, which kind of put him in that predicament to begin with, and then it was just unfortunate. It had one truck, Clayton White, which is the guy we haven't really talked about, and he was setting himself up for a good top 5 finish. Just lost it. I don't know if he put a little bit more of an aggressive setup in there to try to contend for the win, but definitely unfortunate. So let's see if we can get that truck repaired one more time. So we got a new contender for Joseph Kazi to fight with of Greg Holtz, who, as we talked about last week on the season opener, just really dominated Daytona overall, and kind of late showing here for him, but let's see if he can maybe hold off Joseph and get the job done tonight.
Yeah, but we also can't count out the number 8 of Bryson Dursing, who's back there. Bryson has kept for the most part, being the track what it is, has kept a fairly clean truck. And has been very consistent all race long. He does have a little right side damage there as the camera pans by, but again, almost every truck does. That's Darlington. But overall has been very consistent, very clean all race long, and could possibly be a dark horse here from a lot of the other contenders that have been up here all race long. He might be making the right calls and putting himself in the right place at the right time, Jeremy, with roughly about 16 laps to go by the time we get green flag again. So again, there's a number of individuals that are up here. Malagani, that 22, the Fat Caterpillar, he's still up there, still in striking distance. Ron Holmes, up there in 5th place. Jeremy, there was a time where that 33 was a lap down, has worked his way, kept it clean, and is now finding himself running in the top 5. So you can't count out Holmesy there, as he is still in striking distance. And his dancing partner right now, right behind him, Cody Porter, we know he knows how to lead. He's been up there, he's been leading, and he's still in that 6th place. Clayton White, again, has kept a fairly clean truck all race long. A little bit of a miscue there going through the corner on that last caution. Got the truck loose, but he's still under the service of his crew, still getting worked on. So, again, there's still a lot of drivers here in striking distance. You have Jason Miz as well, Shane Posey, and Andy Berganti are all still there in that top 10 right now. Still, anything could happen when it comes to this track.
Definitely. I think Cody Porter's the only truck without damage on the truck at this point in time after going through the field. And that truck definitely has some steam. It has some speed, Dustin. I think he's going to, at this point in time, being so far back, he's going to be on it. He's going to make some aggressive moves. He needs to get back up there because that truck is, I think, personally, the fastest truck right now. But I'm also curious to see how Greg's going to do as he elects the top line there this time. We've seen the leaders choose the bottom the whole time, but he's feeling comfortable on the top, and I think that's where he wants to be on this restart.
Yeah, and I mean, that's not uncommon. It's really not, especially this late in the race. That high line is where the speed is at, especially with the way that low line, it seems, it could be a little bit more difficult, so he may be electing to take that high line as that pace truck does roll off. As they are rolling through turn 4. So we're going to find out if this was a good call by the 3 of Holt, or if this is going to help out that 88 of Causey, try to take over that top spot and get him win number 2. Green flag is out. We are back to racing. A little bit of an offset start there, but it does look like it might be in the favor of the 3 until they get into turn 1, and that 88 does power by that 3 and clear him coming out of 2. I said 3, I meant turn, yeah, you know what I meant. I meant turn 1. Does clear him out of turn 2. Getting turns all mixed up and discombobulated here. But the 3 of Greg Holt is not letting up either, as he is all over the back end right now, the 88, and is right in striking distance. That number 8 of Bryson Dirting still back there. And look at who has come up. That 04 of Cody Porter has jumped from his 8th starting position during that restart to 4th already in just a lap.
Yeah, he got a little checked up there by the 8 in entering turn number 1, but that's no problem. He's going to re-get and get that thing going again. Greg hasn't been up in the front too much, so Joseph actually knows where the green flag has been dropping, so he had that advantage of getting that jump on the restart, and that showed because he cleared the 3, and now the 3 has some work to do to get back to the bumper of Joseph Causey. Going back to 4th place, though, I want to see Cody Porter get up there and contend, but Bryson actually putting on a late race run here as we got about 13 laps to go here. The 04 does take the inside as the 9th caution of tonight's event is out. As we go back, it looks like it's a multiple truck pileup off the exit of turn number 2 caused by just a slow truck there of the number 9. Looks like he got loose and checked everybody up, and not enough brakes and too much speed, Dustin.
And that's never a good combination when it comes to this track here. As we're going to go back and watch that replay. Again, not enough brakes there. It does look like there was a little contact there from the 13 into the 89, which kind of started that. But the 9 was kind of at that transition there. And I don't know, Jeremy. I mean, it looked like it was the 9, but I think there was more going on in that whole incident there than just the 9. He started losing it there at that transition, but those trucks came in out of nowhere from behind him after he was down on the apron portion of that track, that being the 13 and the 24, came flying in out of nowhere. So I don't know exactly if there was more that was to that or what was going on. But we're going to go back and find out. We're actually going to take a look and ride with the 13 to kind of see what is going on and what happened during this event here. To see if we can get more of an answer here. Looks like the 13 got in the wall, and again, that bounced off the wall into the 89 there, and that slowed him up as they were coming off the corner. looks like he got in the wall one more time there, and that's what actually, as he came off the wall, that bounce off the wall. And as we said time and time again, Jeremy, whoever's on the inside there, unfortunately, is just in the wrong place at the wrong time, because as much wheel as you have to put into it to get it off the wall, by the time it does take grip, it's already too late.
Yeah, he hit that wall the first time a ton there on in the middle 1 and 2. Shook up a couple trucks, and then when he got in that wall the second time, it just dipped down in front of the 24, and heavy contact ensued. So yeah, I thought originally it was a 9 that checked him up, but yeah, it was a 13 that just slapped the wall exiting turn 2, and that caused that pileup for sure. So they were going to restack him back up. We got 10 laps to go as they cross the line this time under caution. We'll probably get the green flag with 8 or so to go. I don't know if I saw anyone take tires, maybe someone in the back. So they're kind of comfortable with where they're at right now, and it's go time. I think the 4 needs to get one good restart, and he'll be up there. And Greg Holt wants to redeem that last restart. I think he got a better clue of where the green flag drops, and I think he's looking forward to getting this restart back going.
Yeah, and I mean, it's right now, the 88 is chomping at the bit right now. No driver wants to do anything more than go back-to-back race weekends. He would love to do that. The 3 of Holt is looking for anything he can. Was fast last week, fast this week. Just trying to find that luck to bring it home, and he's right in striking position right now, but he's got to be on point. Bryson Dirting right there, definitely wanting to give a good showing, has kept his truck clean, been in the right place at the right time. Cody Porter had a very fast truck at Daytona last week, but again, just could not make it happen, as the 88 of Joseph Causey did take that. But he has now put himself in striking distance and contention for a win here tonight at Darlington. And again, rounding out your top 5, Rich Malagani, DeFat Caterpillar right back there. He has been hanging out in that top 5, though we may not have been mentioning his name as much as some of the other drivers and kind of moving around. This guy has been hanging out in that top 5 essentially since about the first third of the race, Jeremy. He has been hanging out right around that top 5 position. So again, you got a lot of drivers there. Shane Posey's still back there. We know he was fast. Clayton White, we know he was fast. He's still back there. So again, we got a lot of drivers that are there that, I mean, anything could happen by the time we go back to green flag racing here with 8 laps to go.
Yeah, they're getting geared up. They're tightening that seatbelt. They know they're going to be putting on a show for the fans here for the final 8 laps of tonight's event. Yeah, Bryson put on a real good showing here late. He's been very silent, at least on our perspective, but definitely keeping a clean truck overall, and pretty fast truck too. And so he's looking to maybe take advantage of maybe someone's miscue or just a really good restart here and try to take that top spot if you can from Joseph Causey. Causey also, trying to get the first 2 wins of the season. That'd be kind of an awesome start. So pace truck is down, waiting for the green flag one more time. Let's see if Greg can get that better start that he's really needs at this point with that damage. Green flag is out. Side by side, and he had a really good start, almost equaled. On the shifting, though, Greg missed shift almost looks like, and then checked up, and now he falls right behind the 88.
Yeah, 88 does take over that top spot again. Greg Holt does take second place, but for how long is that 0-4 of Cody Porter is all over his ass end, as he does duck to the inside there to try to take over the second spot from the 3 of Holt, as they are side by side. The 8 of Dirting right back there, just trying to wait for these 2 here to figure out what's going on. A little bit of contact as they go down the straightaway, as our 10th caution of the night is out.
Once again, Shane Posey. This time he slammed the outside turn 3, turn 4, right in front of a few trucks here. 97 right behind him there, Jeremy Kors. He was looking to get a good finish going as he finally got himself back on the lead lap, but shortcoming there. And Shane, I think that was the last straw for him. That truck's been in so many wrecks. I'm surprised he's still running. So many heavy contact, including that time right there. And so that crew once again is going to need to work on that truck to get it in somewhat of a contention to finish this race.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like you said, I mean, that was an unfortunate bit of event there. I mean, it did look like that Posey did drive into that corner there, and a lot could have been contributed to the damage on that 83 truck. but the truck just struggled to stick on that low line, drifted up and got in the wall. And the 97, Jeremy Coors, had nowhere to go on that one. The 83 just came right up and got wall glued, so Posey couldn't get off the wall, and Coors had nowhere to go at that point in time. And again, Jeremy Coors found himself in the wrong place at the wrong time. But I mean, that's part of racing. I mean, sometimes luck's on your side. Sometimes Lady Luck is just like the lady in black, and she can be a harsh bitch.
Definitely for sure at this track, and tonight being the 10th caution, you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. Definitely showing her face. She wants to be a part of this race, and she has been all night long. We see Jeff Converse currently 2 laps down, taking his lucky dog route, and so he'll be down, or scored as 1 lap down when the green flag is back in the air. Joseph Kazi will be your race lead. Let's see what line he chooses over Cody Porter, who somehow has taken second place. I don't know if I just completely missed that or not, but he is in second place, and now we got a show for the race win right now.
Yeah, and I would have to believe that the 88 of Kazi is going to take that inside line. If he would take the outside line, I would be very surprised, as he has been very good on those restarts on that inside line. My concern would be the 04 of Cody Porter has showed a lot of speed, has a very clean truck. Giving him that fast lane on that outside on the initial starts may not pan out very well for the 88. So he's got a very tough decision to make at this point in time, and I would not want to be in his shoes. I do know a lot of the times is even though you may be fast in one lane, it's best to block your opponent's fast lane. That usually rings true in dirt. So again, I would not want to have to make the decision he's going to have to, but I mean, he's had a very stout truck all race long. Either way, Jeremy, we're going to come down to one hell of a finish here. That much is guaranteed.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Cody's definitely on the hunt. He wants to take that top spot for sure. It looks like, I think you're correct on that inside line, at least until we get to the line. Looks like Cody will be on the outside of Joseph Kazi, unless he makes a last-second change here, which he does not. So it looks like Cody's going to be on the outside of Joseph Kazi to take the green flag, which will be about 3 laps to go, if my math serves me correctly. Greg Holt's going to be in 3rd place on the inside line there. And then the 4th place of the 8 truck of Bryson Dirting.
Yeah, so the pace lights are out on that pace truck as they are pacing around for the final time. We are going to get the green flag with 3 laps to go. It is going to be a traditional green-white checkered as we come around. Let's hope it's the only one we have. These drivers keep it going. It's either way, it's going to be an excellent race coming down to it. Now the question is can the 88 of Kazi hold off the strong advances of the 04 of Porter, who has shown a lot of strength late in this race? On top of that, the 88 has a lot of pressure from behind by that number 3 of Holt, who has been up here since rebounding from early race damage and early race incident. So again, pace truck is off. We will find out in just 3 short laps as they come down, and the green flag is out. Green flag flies. They are off. Kazi has an excellent start, but that 04 Porter has an even better start, bringing it almost nose to nose through there. And the 04 has that preferred line, has that speed up there, and this could pose bad for the 88 of Kazi. Contact made between the 4 and the 88 there. They keep it going straight. The 88 way down on the apron. This could be bad. And a little bit of contact, and right there it was.
Heavy contact, 22.06 and the 88. That just 11th caution is out. So green white checkered once again. That is, oh my, Dustin. That's really unfortunate. They just 88 went to go get some side draft from the 04, and that's what caused that incident to my end initially. And Greg Holt did nothing but benefit, and he'll be a race leader on the next restart.
Yeah, they tried to get a little side draft there going down the straight. Contact was made, and that shot the 88 so far down that heavy contact by the 06 of Clayton White on that one. A little bit of front nose contact on the 22 of Rich Malagani to Pat Caterpillar there. But it looks like he'll be able to rebound on that one there. I hate to say it, Jeremy, but I mean, we seen that one coming when we seen how far down the 88 of Kazi was going in the apron there. And you know as well as I do, there's not much room down there to try to woe that truck down as he was trying to slow it up to allow a little bit better of a transition back up onto the racing surface a little bit there, and just couldn't get it slowed down enough.
Yeah, that's tough, man. That's real tough. That takes a really good truck out of the contention, and that's going to end at least any type of chances of the victory for Joseph Kazi. That heavy inside damage there to his truck, and Greg right now sitting pretty up on the lead there with Cody Porter, who showed that he can contend with that restart, being in second place if he times it well with Greg. Greg, we've seen now have the best of restarts, so I think that might play into the factor of Cody Porter getting back up to that top spot once again, but we'll see when the green flag flies. This is the first official green-white checker of tonight's event, so they have one of three. They got two more chances at it if they need it, but let's hope they can take the green flag the rest of the way.
Yeah, that is the hope. Now the question is did Greg Holt learn anything from Joseph Kazi on allowing the 0-4 Porter being on that high side? Now, the last restart that we seen, the 3 leading it, he did choose the high side. It didn't pan out well for him, so you got to kind of wonder if that's going to play a factor in this, knowing how the restart, when he chose the high side, how it didn't work out, but seeing what happened with the 88 choosing the low side and giving the 0-4 Porter that high side. Again, another driver that I would not want to be in their driver's seat making that call and that decision right now. That would not be a fun one. Again, though, back behind these two, been back there missing a lot of these scuffles and a lot of these minor contacts that we've been seeing. Is that 8 of Bryson Dirting is back there, still riding in third. He's still in striking distance, Jeremy. I mean, yeah, it's a green-white checker. There's 3 laps to go, but a lot can happen in 3 laps, and he's starting second on the inside line right now. So, I mean, anything could happen. He's still got Rich Malagani back there in fourth, and look who has worked their way back up into the top 5. Lap 1, turn 1, Jeremy Coors got himself into a little bit of contact there that kind of put him in a bad place. Had been fighting all race long, and wouldn't you know it, Jeremy? Look who is up in the top 5 right now, and that's at 97 of Jeremy Coors.
Yeah, it's surprising to see him back up there. Multiple incidences he's been a part of tonight. I guess he's not done yet. He's not letting the wrecks weigh him down, and he's going to give it one more shot here as they have 1 lap to go before they take the green flag for the first green-white checker of tonight's event. Looks like Greg has elected to take the inside line, which going off the last restart, Cody had a really good restart on that high side and have the preferred line, in the middle of 1 and 2. And I figured that Greg would take the high side maybe for some defense, but I know his truck has been running a little bit better on the bottom, so I guess that's where he feels most comfortable to contend for the race win, and so that's where he's going to restart.
Yeah, and sometimes, I mean, that's where you got to go. I mean, it's 6 and 1 half dozen in the other, Jeremy. You got to make that call whether you want to try to play defense or whether you want to put your truck in a situation and in the place where it runs the best, especially when you're looking at 3 laps to go too when they get the white or the green flag here as pace truck is off. Green flag does fly. We are back to racing action again. Solid start on that inside by the 3 of Greg Holt, which we did not expect anything less. But again, a top-notch restart by the 0-4 of Porter on that high side as these two are going in the corner. Contact made. Porter into the wall. That slows Porter up. Porter now under attack by the 8 of Dirting as Dirting is trying to make a pass on the inside of Porter. This is exactly what Greg Holt wanted to see, as, again, the 8 of Dirting on the inside, the 0-4 Porter on the outside. Porter does clear the 8 of Dirting, now tries to chase down the 3 of Holt, but Holt does have about a truck length and a half distance as we are coming through. Jeremy, I tell you what, this is going to be a tough one as they're running through. The 0-4 Porter trying to chase him down. Don't know if he's going to have enough time. He's got to be as good and clean, but getting there is only half the battle as he dives it hard inside. Contact made. 0-4 wrecks. 3 wrecks in the 8 of Bryson Durning goes around. But look at who's coming off. The 97 of Jeremy Coors comes home with a victory after a late race accident in turn 3 and 4.
Holy cow, as you said, a lot of things can happen. In one corner, your 5th place runner finishes in 1st place, just gifted the checkered flag at the Darlington race. That Dustin, wow, that's, I don't know. There's been a million different ways you could have finished it, and I did not expect that one. That's insane. He threw that was just too much of a run from Cody. Like, yeah, it's the only thing he could do, but that's way too hard. You can't do that. You just can't do that. And that definitely showed. He almost cleared him, but no, even if he did clear him, you're still going to smash the wall either way.
Yeah, it was a hard dive on the inside, and like I said, you don't know what's going to happen. What a bounce back and recovery, and I would definitely say that would deserve the nerd driver of the night, being Jeremy Coors, being involved on that lap 1, corner 1 incident, and finding himself in victory lane tonight. And that Martin Sports number 97 machine, it was a very hard dive in there, a very aggressive move. But again, it was a last ditch effort. I mean, it was all or nothing as we were trying to make it through there. And it caused contact. Bryson Durning almost coming home with the victory, come home with the 2nd place. That was a hell of a run. And Rich Malagani rounding out your podium after that last lap, last corner melee that took place. That jumbled up the entire standings, Jeremy, exactly as we said could happen.
Yeah, Shane Posey 4th, Andy Briganti 5th, Holmesy 6th, Greg Holt 7th, Jeff Converse 8th, Clayton White 9th, and to round out your top 10 and your last truck on the lead lap would have been Cody Porter. Curious to know, Dustin, how the admins are going to take Cody Porter's run there into turn 3. And he did more penalty to himself because he would have finished 2nd, but now he finishes 10th. So that's 8 positions, 8 points, lost just because he wanted to throw it in the corner. So that's going to be really tough to come back to at Bristol, which that track, it's very hit or miss. It's like Daytona. You don't know if you get involved in somebody else's stuff. So that's a big a break that Jeremy really needed to see because he was going to finish 5th and he was gifted 5 points. And that's just huge. That's a huge turn of events there for the 2nd race of the season.
Oh, and it definitely was. Not what some of the drivers wanted to see. I guarantee it's not what Greg Holt was expecting going into turn 3 and 4 like that, because I guarantee you that caught him at a surprise on that one. And I agree. What the admins will do. I mean, that could play a factor, and it could cost Cody Porter a little bit more. In the end, these drivers are racing for money for the championship standings there. Again, presented by Sticker Cabana. They have put out prize dividends and everything else on there. So, at some point in time, you got to think point racing. And I don't know. I just the payout on that one there, going from even if you couldn't win it, locking in a 2nd place to a 10th place, or possibly more if the admins see fit to do anything. Not saying that anybody was really wrong or anything else. It was an aggressive move, yeah, it was, but it's part of racing. It would be up to them. I mean, to me, the way out just doesn't seem like it was worth it. I think I probably would have taken the points to try to secure that a little bit more, especially after Daytona, where a lot of drivers didn't have the best of luck. This would have been a good rebound day, and obviously it was for Jeremy Coors. I mean, that proves it right there. Rich Malagani as well in that final podium position. Great points rebound day, and that's exactly what they needed.
Yeah, Bryson and Richard just granted a free podium spot after that move by Cody for sure. Jeremy Coors, I'm sure, I don't know what his emotions are feeling, but I'm sure it's one of those things that you did not expect whatsoever. You thought maybe a truck would wreck, but not 4 of them. So I'm sure he's just all over the map and baffled at what just happened. And he's going to get out of the truck and be like, what just happened, to collect the checkered flag for tonight's race. But overall, though, 11 incidences, but outside of that, the green flag race did post some good racing, and overall it's pretty all right. Little bit of cleanup needed to be done for next week at Bristol. A lot of teams need to go back to their garages and get these things repaired, because there is a lot of trucks with a lot of bent sheet metal, a lot of bent frames, and yeah, it's just even Shane Posey, who finishes 4th, he almost made podium, and that truck is, I think, not a single part of that truck is scratched or dented, Dustin.
Yeah. It's hard telling on some of these. I don't know how they even had enough power under the hood there to even crawl across the line without getting pushed from a teammate or a fellow competitor. So definitely overall, I mean, it was an astonishing race, and how some of these drivers were able to finish where they did was no small feat in its own. But talking about drivers and their finishing, Jeremy, I think it's time we need to talk with our podium finishers here to see if any of them want to be interviewed after that wild race that we just had.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm looking over at the that pit road, and I do see Mr. Richard Malagani has stepped out of his truck. So I will bring him over to the booth. Richard, take us through the last few laps, man. That race was crazy. Lots of wrecks, and you were just gifted a podium spot. Tell us how those last few laps went for you.
Yeah, they was really wild.
Yeah, wild for sure. What was your strategy going to the night? I mean, I know a lot of strategies were changed up and everything, and with all the wrecks and trying to go through the pit roads and the cautions and everything like that. But what was your game plan going to the race? And did you expect to be up there in the podium finish when it was all said and done?
Expect it? No. I was working on my setup all the way to the grid. If you noticed, I gridded with 1 second to go. That's because I was still in telemetry working on it, and I worked on it all week, and yeah, it paid off, I guess. Made a couple adjustments, and that thing was one of the best trucks I've ever had, and this is one of my favorite tracks. It is my favorite track. I love this place. So you got to be smart, and you got to know what you're doing in order to be at the end and the back. And Jeremy Coors, he is a hell of a driver. I just really want to say that. He's a hell of a driver.
I tell you what, it's we will have to agree on that one there. Like I said, we've seen a lot of good driving. Some of it was out of you. There, Mr. Fat Caterpillar. I mean, it's we called your name a couple times tonight. But you got to give yourself credit where credit's due. I mean, you were hanging out right around that top 5 pretty much all race long. Yeah. You were right there in striking distance. I mean, you had that truck sideways and saved it a couple of times. You probably filled your driver's suit a little bit with the 55 spinning in front of you. You just missing the 55 or about halfway through the race. I mean, take us through some of those incidents and how you maintained your composure to put yourself in the position to finish on podium.
Honestly, I've really been working on myself this last week, and nothing against Team Hideaway, but I had to break off a little bit just to focus on myself. And I was not driving, I guess you could say, to the best of my ability, and I just needed to focus on me for a little bit. And that paid off. You could see that I've been working at it really hard about improving racecraft and improving the way that, I bring the truck home. I can't believe I hit the guy in turn 3. That really, that was crazy when he came back up on the track. Not flaming or anything, just that was nuts. The guy on pit road, that was crazy too. The stack up with the 4 cars in front of me, and the guy behind me hit the water barrels, I think. I don't know. But it was just reaction. I can't really tell how it was, but it was all right. I'm proud. I'm proud of how that race ended up, for sure. Darlington has always been one of my favorites since I raced on NASCAR race in 2003. It's just a rhythm track. If you take the first two corners like they're separate, then you really can get it down good. That's what a lot of people don't do. So, I mean, good race tonight, though. It was exciting, filled with cautions, and Bristol's coming next week, so probably going to be the same thing.
It's Bristol, baby. We actually expected a number of cautions just because of Darlington is Darlington. It's the lady in black, and as I stated in the broadcast, the lady can be quite a bitch sometimes, depending
Yes,
on how
she
much
can.
luck. So
Yes, she can. I've been trying to tame her all week, and yeah, I got a good stripe, just a kiss. It was pretty cool. Because all day I've been flattening that turn 4 wall, but I just kissed it this time, and it didn't even hurt. I don't think.
hey, a kiss is better than a bear hug. So, I mean, just remember that much, and it got you a podium. I would take that as being tamed any day of the week when it comes to this track, because this is definitely a finesse track. It's definitely a driver's track. So, again, you
Yeah.
put yourself in a good position. You got yourself a podium on that. I do want to shout out to Jen as well. She did tell you, nice finish, babe. Good job, guys. So, you might want to thank her on that too, because I know you got a fan club there. But I tell you what, Rich, this was your time. You had a hell of a race. You had a lot of close calls. You saved that truck. You put you in position to finish podium. I know it's a great rebound points night after the race at Daytona and everything that happened there. So again, keep doing what you're doing, but this is your time to shine. I know you got some people you want to say thanks to, some sponsors you want to shout out to. This is your time.
Yeah, you guys, Nerditudes, man, you guys kind of took over a little spot on my truck, and I really appreciate it. But I really want to say thank you to Hideaway for treating me right, and Josh Benoit for being there for me in this race, and my wife and my kids who have supported me through. Oh man, I have worked hard at this telemetry and this setup thing because I didn't know anything about setups, honestly, and they have been patient with me. And this is hard work when you try to learn it and you don't know how to learn it, and then you get it down. So I really appreciate them. And Caterpillar, man, Caterpillar makes a great bulldozer, as you can see. And if you ever needed any equipment, go hit them up.
After that late race incident there, when the truck came up there and you bulldozed it all right, pushed it right out of the way, and it didn't affect your truck. So
I also want to thank Clayton White too. He we've been running laps together too, and just all of Hideaway, Shane Posey. Really appreciate you guys not hanging me out to dry tonight.
And absolutely. And again, congratulations on your podium finish. We're going to let you take this time to kind of wind down, kind of reminisce and soak in all the action that happened in tonight's race. Because if you're anything like me, you always go through that stuff in your head again. What could you have done different? So we're going to let you kind of relax. Again, enjoy it. Congratulations on your third place finish here at Darlington, a track that you said that you love so much. So again, congratulations. That is your third place finisher, Rich Malagani, ladies and gentlemen.
Love the lady in black.
I gotta say,
Go
Jeremy,
ahead.
I love talking to that guy. That guy puts a smile on my face every time I talk to him. He's a good cat. I like that.
I see what you did there, saying a good cat with that Caterpillar machine.
Hey, you got it. All right.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and actually, I think I see a race winner, Mr. Jeremy Coors. Completely didn't expect to pull him in here after that, or before the turn 3 in the last lap. Mr. Jeremy, take us through those last few laps. What did you expect, and what did you see on your end?
Oh my goodness, what a crazy race. I wouldn't expect anything else from Darlington. I mean, it was a crazy race from the very beginning for me, but those last few laps, we had some beat up cars up there. We had some guys who had run up front most of the race up there and kept it clean. And it was just watching everything unfold in front of me. I was actually down power at the end. I was down about 10, 15 RPMs, and I was still quick through the corners, really quick. I didn't have to lift as much. But when it came to end of straightaway speed, I didn't have it. So I was trying to keep everything in front of me so I could see it. And I don't even know what to say, man. That was super exciting, super fun race.
Yeah, I would say that you being down on power actually saves you from being involved in that incident, because everybody else in front of you was collected for sure, and it allowed you to go through the open door there and take the victory. We were calling you now, or calling your name throughout the whole race, and you just kept getting involved after incident, kind of like how Shane was, and somehow your team was able to manage to get that truck back up and running. What kind of repairs did you guys need to do, and when was your engine down on power? Because I know you've been involved in several incidences. So how long were you actually down on power?
Most of the incidents had happened kind of in front of me. It was after I got that first lap back, because I had my for some reason my whole iRacing service crashed in the very first lap. I started outside pole, and so I went 2 laps down, and after I got that first lap back, I started pushing it a little harder, because I had to, I got to get in the lucky dog position, and it was just craziness. And I kept getting little nicks here and there. I wasn't much damage. Honestly, it was usually about 15 seconds. I go in, get 15 seconds fixed, go in, get, just minor stuff, pushing the fenders out. The big one that was down power was when Posey hit the wall in front of me, and he kind of, he got glued to the wall. He tried to get it off, and he came down a little too far. And he just collected me, and it wasn't his fault. It happens. And I was a little disappointed because I had a super fast truck, super fast. And, that was the one that did it. And I spent the next 2 cautions going in and getting major stuff. It was that front end damage that I had to get fixed. I knocked the toe out on my, right front as well. So the rest of it was just dragging, and like you said, it was probably a good thing I was down on power, because I didn't have to lift nearly as much in the corners.
Yeah, and I tell you what, we wondered what happened, because your truck there on that first lap, first corner incident, which again we did not expect going into the first corner, that kind of caught us off guard a little bit. You disappeared, and we had seen glimpses of you throughout the broadcast as the cameras would hit. We'd see glimpses of you, and it wasn't until right there towards the end. And I mean, Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I sat here, I'm like, would you look who is in 5th place? I'm like, is that Jeremy Coors? I said he was involved in the lap 1, turn 1 incident, and he's in the top 5. And then lo and behold, you come home with the victory after whatever happened in turns 3 and 4. I mean, walk me through that when you just seen everything start falling apart in front of you.
I mean, it was, like I said, I was fast through the corners. I was faster than most of the guys through the corners, and it's all credit to the guys at CGE for helping and putting together just a rocket ship for me, and Martin Sports obviously too. Just unbelievable truck today. Even when I was a lap down, 2 laps down, I was out 82 laps on green flag on 1 set of tires, and I just had to. I had to get that lap back, that first lap back, and I was just running ridiculous times for what I had. But I was fast through the corners, and when I started seeing them, I caught a little puff of smoke, and I backed way off of it, right in front of me there at the end. And I expected the car in front of me, or the truck in front of me, the 8, I think it was, to shoot low. But I think he may have locked it up or something, and he couldn't do it. And he kind of just had to get collected in it too. And I had already checked up so much, I just shot it low and punched the gas, and was hoping that nobody was going to shoot down the track. It was just insane. I could not believe how that unfolded at the end. I certainly did not expect to be in victory lane after all that. What a race. I just one of my favorite races I've ever run, man. I just battling the entire race.
And you and everybody else were not expecting to see that 97 in victory lane tonight, or being interviewed up here in the booth with us. But I tell you what, in the 8 did come home second. I was slowed down just enough, but did bring it home second right behind you. Just didn't, again, you being down on power. I mean, that worked out to your benefit with everything that worked out. I tell you what, probably one of the most exciting races I personally have ever had the thrill to call, and that's even comparing it to a lot of the dirt races too, and those things can have some fun. Gosh, yes. I mean, fantastic finishes. So it was definitely a good one. But I tell you what, Jeremy, it was awesome to see you, to see your race, to see your work all the way there, and I can tell by the excitement in your voice I mean, you're thrilled with it. Jen also wants to shout out and says congratulations on your finish as well. We love to give shout outs to people that to message us. So this is your time, buddy. Give shout outs, give thanks. I know there's people you want to say thanks to and sponsors you want to shout out to.
Well, shout out to Jen for telling me congratulations. I appreciate that. I worked my butt off the entire race to get there, man. Like I said, I had a super fast truck. Qualified second. I was fast, and I just was so disappointed after that. But we battled. We got there. Shout outs. I gotta shout out Martin Sports. Martin Sports is the sponsor. We're so fortunate to have Martin Sports and Scott Martin sponsoring the truck, sponsoring the team. He just awesome. I'm so fortunate, and definitely check them out, man. You gotta go on their website and check out their sim racing gloves. You will never experience anything like it. I swear to you. I hate gloves. I've always hated gloves. Even when I've lived in Michigan, I hated gloves. But these sim racing gloves, I wear them. They're fantastic. So definitely check them out. So fortunate to have Martin Sports, and I gotta also shout out the boys at CGE for helping me week in and week out, and just helping me learn and I'm to how to build a setup and build a car, get these things fast. So the boys at CGE, Andrew Navarro, all you guys over there, man, just thank you so much. I got to shout those guys out. And man, I do stream, so if anyone likes to watch iRacing streams, check that out too. The Heavy J8 on Twitch. I appreciate you guys so much, and shout out to you guys, man. You guys put on a heck of a broadcast.
I appreciate that, and like I said, it's easy for us to put on a broadcast and make our shortcomings look better when you guys put on a hell of a show, and I mean an even crazier finish like you did. Thanks. So, yeah, you guys did excellent. Again, I appreciate what you guys do. And again, congratulations on your race finish. We can't wait to see what you guys have.
Thank you guys.
You bet. Again, congratulations. That is your first place winner. The man that went from second place outside pole, first lap, first corner, went to dead last, worked his way back up under power, and still got the race win. Ladies and gentlemen, that right there just goes to show you never give up. Don't sit here and call it quits, and don't throw the towel in, because you never know what's going to happen. Jeremy, I tell you what, that was a heck of a race with Jeremy Coors taking that victory, and that's your number one finisher right there. A heck of a race and heck of a way to go out, man. Your final thoughts on this? I mean, if you have any thoughts after that mind-blowing ending.
I just want to say that the drivers' energies there, the two that we interviewed, man, they Jeremy and Richard, they are pumped for the season, it sounds like, and I can definitely back up the other Jeremy's thoughts on Bristol. I'm looking forward to this race because it's one of my favorite tracks as well. Darlington too, for that matter, but Bristol just has a special place in my heart. And final thoughts is lots of cautions, but after, like I said earlier, after the cautions are put them to the side, the green flag racing was actually pretty good. Decent amount of side by side. I think at one point we saw a 3 wide pass. They're way down below on of the racing surface, and it was a very entertaining. And to back your comment up earlier, I do believe this was one of the more exciting races I've been a part of as well. And this only being our second asphalt race together with Nerditudes, it's actually pretty cool. Definitely looking forward to the rest of the season for sure. Got some work cut out, but yeah, let's go to Bristol.
Couldn't have said it better myself, buddy. Could not have said it better myself. I'm always a fan of Bristol. One of my favorite tracks to run, has been since NR2K3. So it's going to be a fun one to actually call that race and see all the race in action, seeing these guys go door to door again, yet on a much smaller circuit than Darlington. I want to thank everybody out there. I want to thank all the drivers. I want to thank all the league admins for fuel. All the admins being Josh Benoit, Clayton White, Shane Posey, Ron Holmes. I mean, they put in a lot of extra work behind the scenes, and I tell you what, guys, I mean, it goes to show they help out the broadcast team, getting us everything we need to bring you guys an awesome show. So again, I want to give a shout out to them. Shout out to Race Control that has been doing a spot on job with everything. Again, the drivers. And again, we have to give a shout out to the sponsor. So again, Sticker Cabana, they are the title sponsor for the Sticker Cabana Truck Series. Go check them out online. They make some excellent die cut stickers. high quality stickers as well. I want to give a shout out to Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker is another big one. So that's thebuttkicker.com/AFF equals 33. That's the affiliate link for Fired Up. Go on and take a look at the products. They make some excellent products there. Utilize promo code Fired Up for 20% off your order. Again, you're not going to regret it. You're going to love it, especially when it comes to those the Sounds of Nerd sections there when we sit here and let your sound systems on your PCs, if that's what you're watching on, really crank it up. It really sends a new sensation to the derriere there a little bit. We want to thank Hideaway Motorsports, another big supporter of Fuel. They do a lot behind the scenes as well. So again, we want to thank all the teams that have the ability of running here. Again, we're still working on the graphic overlays on there, but we will be giving the teams their time to shine there a little bit and letting them see what's going on. So again, just bear with us as we're going through. It's new software. We're learning it. And as you can tell with tonight, you actually get to see these darling mugs here on the screen as we commentate. So it's always a good thing. We're always trying new stuff. So let us know how we're doing because we always want to try to bring new things to you. But on behalf of myself, and again, the legend, the myth, the man, Mr. J. Stan, Jeremy Stanley, I want to thank you guys. Again, stay tuned to Nerditudes, as we do have a number of things coming up. Again, we do have Over the Limit coming up October 3rd, their opening race at Volusia. That is our dirt series. I tell you what, their races are always exciting, but so far, Darlington here is definitely taking the cake on that one there. And Fuel is again at Bristol, September 16th. Again, we are at the half mile, the Thunderdome itself, to really go at it and show these drivers and these fans what we can do. So again, stay tuned on that. Follow us on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. This is streaming to YouTube as well. Clayton, that one's for you, buddy. I told you that we'd take a look at it, so it's going to YouTube as well. So again, thank you everybody for everything you do. Thank you for everybody that's joined in. Jen, thank you again for the comments. We love shouting out and bringing you guys into the broadcast as well. So again, thank everybody out there. We'll see you guys next week. Until then, stay safe. We'll see you at the next track.